Good morning, one and all. We are now live on Facebook and YouTube. Boker Tov. Thank you for joining. Great. I see people logging on as we speak. Thank you for being here once again for another fantastic week ahead with daily learning and lockdown inspiration. Thank you for being part of this. I see you're logging on now, so we'll just give it a few moments to allow for people to log on. Please do share your comments in the comments box. And we would love to hear from you. If you're just logging on now, please do let us know you're here with us this morning. Great. Keep the comments coming in. I'm enjoying the comments. Keep the comments coming in. Eleanor Kotkus, I see you online, but you're commenting on the wrong video. So just move on to the right video. That would be ideal. Sunday, 28th of June. That's the video you should be commenting on. Right, let me just welcome you all here personally. Those of you who have greeted us till this point. Sherilyn Diamond, good morning. Arlene Udolovitz. Tracy Mindel, thank you. Felicia Jenks. Linda and Jaime Drew, Boker Tov, Larry Cohen, Arnold Orkin, Helen Feinstein, Michael Stain, thank you. Robert Levy, and Hack. Good stuff. And on YouTube, we have Raylene Brask, Fega Sega, Manfred Kalmick, Shelley Smith, Raylene Brask, together with Stan. Good morning, Ronnie Kotkus. Great stuff. Good stuff. Jonathan Alon from Israel. Okay, we've now gone international. We have Israel on the line with us as well. Thank you all for being here. If you're just joining on, please do comment and share with us your morning greetings so we can welcome you personally to another session of daily learning and lockdown inspiration. We're just going to give it one more minute to allow for everyone to log on properly. And then we're going to get going in just a second. Shavua Tov, Norman. Good to have you here. Daryl Lehman from Honolulu. Wow. Hey, Daryl. Welcome aboard. We got really international here. Honolulu, Israel. Morning, Marlene Show. Good morning. Anyone else who's logging on, maybe from Cape Town or Australia or Israel, let us know you're on with us. Shalom Trigo, good morning. Okay, let's get going here. We've got over 30 viewers online with us right now between Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to get going, and hopefully others are going to join us as we do. And I came across a very, very interesting letter that the Rebbe wrote, the Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote in 1940. It was actually a talk he gave, and he focused on this month, the Hebrew month, the calendar month, or the month of Tammuz, that we find ourselves right now. And I'd like to share with you some of his insights, because I think they're extremely relevant and very powerful for us to share with one another and to inspire one another. We know that the month of Sivan, which is the previous month, was the month of the giving of the Torah. And we received the Torah on the 6th, which is Shavuot, 6th of Sivan. And a month later is a month of Tammuz. Now, the Gemara of Talmud tells us that Tammuz is called Tekufas HaChoim. It's the summer months. Tekufas HaChoim, the summer months. Because we know that in the northern hemisphere, let's talk about Israel in particular. In Israel, the month of Tammuz now welcomes in the summer month, beginning now for the summer holidays. Obviously, here in South Africa, in the southern hemisphere, it's winter. But nonetheless, we know that Torah follows the northern hemisphere, the ways of Israel. Tammuz is the summer months. Why is that so important for us to know? Just before I get on to that, if you're on Facebook, just like our video if you don't mind. And share the video as far as you can. Because we want others to be able to hear us too and learn from us. So share the video and others will be able to join us too. So why is it important that Tammuz? Hi Stan, Brask on YouTube, thanks for joining us here. Why is it so important that Tammuz is a summer month? Because we know that summer and the choim, the heat, the warmth, represents vibrancy. It represents enthusiasm and passion. That's what Tammuz represents. And generally, we know what happens in the summer. Although today, under Corona circumstances, things are a little different. But under the summer, we dress more relaxed. We tend to enjoy the beach more. We indulge in the beauty of the world, whether it's the holiday season or the beaches. That's the natural tendency of the months of the summer. Now, when it comes to heat, when it comes to warmth, when it comes to enthusiasm, we know that you can have enthusiasm and desires and passion in two conflicting aspects in the world. You can either have enthusiasm and passion and excitement when it comes to the physical, to the summer months of the year, indulging in the comfortability and the enjoyment of what holiday season brings, in particular in the northern hemisphere. Or we can have warmth and vibrancy and enthusiasm when it comes to spiritual endeavors, such as logging onto a Torah shir at 10:30 in the morning. That can also be done enthusiastically and excitingly. That's what warmth represents. So what does God do? In the month after Sivan, in the month after the giving of the Torah, he gives us the month of Tammuz, the summer months. And he now says, you've got a choice where to direct and channel your desires. You can either channel your desires in the direction of physicality, the holiday season, the summer months of the year, or you can guide your enjoyment towards the spiritual, towards the Torah that I just gave you in the month of Sivan, towards spiritual pursuits in the service of God. Ultimately, we're going to have that choice. Ultimately, enthusiasm and passion is something that's part of our DNA. We are all born with an element of enthusiasm, of excitement inside of us. It's part of our hormones. It's part of our upbringing. It's part of who we are. But we've got the choice where to channel, how to channel, where to channel that sort of enthusiasm and that passion. Do we go towards the heat of the summer, or do we go towards the heat of Torah? And that's going to be our dilemma. We mentioned a little while back, that's exactly what took place in the womb of Rebecca, of Rivka Imenu. Because Rivka, we know, had inside of her Yaakov and Esav, two brothers, Jacob and Esau. And Yaakov and Esav had this struggle. Do we turn towards the church or the Avodah Zarah, the idol worship, or do we turn towards the shul and service of God? And Esav pulled in this direction, Yaakov pulled in that direction. And when Rivka went to seek advice, Shem, who was the prophet at the time, told her, you're going to have two nations, and each nation is going to pull in each direction. Each nation is going to try and tug you being the person. You're going to be pulled either to follow after Esau or to follow after Yaakov. Either your passion and enthusiasm is going to follow the Torah, which is the month of Sivan, All your enthusiasm and passion is going to follow Tammuz, the month of the summer months, representing the physicality and the material, and that's going to be our choice. When God created man, he created man, an animal, very differently. Man was created upright. It is called koima zukufa. Man's created upright. Why is that important? Why is that significant? Because when man stands upright, the moach, the brain, stands on top. And then comes the heart, the emotion. And then comes the legs, the action. And look at the sequence of events. We spoke about this before. First comes the brain, the intellect, the logic. Then comes the heart, the emotion. And then comes the legs, which is the action. We don't act without going through such a process, or at least we're not supposed to act without going through such a process of intellect, emotion, action. But the animal, on the other hand, was good. Where the brain and the heart and the legs are all equal. With the animal, the brain doesn't stand higher than the heart or the legs, because it's all equal in the life of the animal. The animal is governed by instinct, is governed by temptation, by desire. That's what an animal does. And therefore, there's no such thing as the intellect being higher than the emotion or being higher than the legs, because that's not what happens in an animal. Well, what about us? Do we generally behave like humans, or do we generally behave like animals? Do we follow our desires and our temptations and our instincts, wherever they pull us? Or do we focus our desires and our instincts towards those things that are important to us, that are strong values, that are relevant, that are long-lasting, that are purposeful and meaningful? That's going to be our question. So when we're juggling up Sivan and Tammuz, the Torah versus the comfortable summer months of the year, and we want to decide where our temptation, where our desire, where our enjoyment and enthusiasm is going to be directed, are we acting like animals who follow instincts, or are we acting like humans who calculate things properly and know their values and follow their intellect and their logic before deciding what my emotion or my action is going to be? There's a story told about the Or HaChaim HaKodesh. The Or HaChaim HaKodesh, if I'm not mistaken, lived in the 1500s, 1600s. And he was once traveling with a chariot, a wagon, that was traveling through the desert. And it came towards a time of Shabbos. And the Or HaChaim asked, please, can you stop here so that I can get off for Shabbos so we can not travel on Shabbos? Just before I go on, I want to welcome Dee Tanner, who's just joined us on Facebook. Everyone else that's joining us now, feel free to comment. We are close to 40 viewers here between Facebook and YouTube, so it's fantastic to all be here together. If you have any comments, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll be very happy to take your comment, engage with you personally. We're talking about the Or HaChaim, the story of the Or HaChaim. Good morning, Stephen Herr. Yes, we'll dedicate your learning in memory of your mother, Esther Bat Moshe. I also want to dedicate our learning for Refuah Shalema for two very close friends, Liron ben Sarit and Shmuel ben Itamira. I know that one of you messaged me as well to let me know that someone in your family is not well during this time. And I'll just pull up that name as well, just to make sure that we have them in mind as well. So just give me a moment here, and we'll clarify that detail. Okay, I'll come to it in a second. But let's continue with Or HaChaim. The Or HaChaim was traveling in a desert, and it came Shabbos time. And the Or HaChaim asked, please let me get off, that I can observe Shabbos properly. And they weren't going to wait for him. They weren't going to wait for him. And they said, fine, you got a choice. We can either leave you here, or we're going to continue traveling. And the Or HaChaim said, fine, leave me here. So he left him in the middle of the desert. Can you imagine? They left Or HaChaim in the middle of the desert with no protection and no safety, no security. And while he was there, a lion approached him. The lion approached the Or HaChaim. What are you going to do if the Or HaChaim? What are you going to do if a lion approaches you? Are you going to try and put up your fists? You know, he wasn't a hunter. He didn't have any guns on him. So what was he supposed to do? So listen carefully to the story. It's a fascinating story. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh showed the lion his Brit Milah. As you hear it, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh showed the lion his Brit Milah. And the story is that not only did the lion not attack him at that time, but in fact the lion watched over him and protected him during that time. What happened afterwards? After Shabbos, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh sat on the lion, and the lion walked the Or HaChaim until he caught up with the chariot and then took him home. Now that's a fascinating story. Let me tell you, this story is not just a Baba Maisa. It's not made up stories. This is recorded in the holy texts, in the holy books. And it's an amazing story. And we need to understand it. But before I do that, I want to wish also Refuah Shalema to Shalom Yosef ben Chaya Ruda, who needs a Refuah Shalema during this time as well. We'll learn for Refuah for him at the same time. Thank you very much to all of you for being here. What happened? What happened was, at that time when the lion saw the Brit Milah of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, suddenly the lion realized that the animal is different to the human, and the human is different to the animal. Suddenly the lion realized that this person, this Or HaChaim HaKadosh, besides being a great tzaddik, he had a very strong connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Hashem. The animal is created as a physical, mundane animal. The human being is spiritual and godly. And when the lion saw the Brit Milah of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, he realized that I can't mess with this guy, because this guy has a close connection to Hashem, as is emphasized by the Brit Milah. Just on a similar note, we know the famous story about David HaMelech. David HaMelech was once in the bathhouse, and as it was in those days, it was a public washing area. And David HaMelech went to the bathhouse, and the Talmud tells us how when he was there, he realized that he is empty of mitzvahs, that he no longer has mitzvahs on him. Why? Because he had taken off his talis. He had taken off his yarmulke, he had taken off his tefillin, and David HaMelech said to himself, Oy vey, I am naked of mitzvahs. And what does the Talmud tell us? The Talmud says that until he realized that he still had his bris milah, he still had his circumcision. When he realized he had his circumcision, he then calmed down, because he realized that even while he's in the bathhouse, he still has a mitzvah. He still has a mitzvah. And that mitzvah remains with him even while he is bathing in the bathhouse. So getting back to this discussion of the balance of enthusiasm, the balance of passion, the balance of where to direct the warmth and the excitement, whether we're going to focus on the physical or we're going to focus on the spiritual. The truth is that the month of Tammuz actually has that balance in its own right. The sun shines in the month of Tammuz, as I said, in the northern hemisphere, in Israel. It's a time when the sun shines. Now, the sun shining has a physical aspect to it and a spiritual aspect to it. On the one hand, physically, in the mundane physical world, we're much more comfortable to engage and indulge in the physicality in the summer months than we are in the winter months. That's why we have the custom to read Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers, in the summer months, so that we are guided and directed in the right direction during these summer months. Because physically, when it's summer, when the sun is shining, we are guided and we're more comfortable to indulge in the physical world. But at the same time, we know that the sun represents God. It says, Kishemesh umogein. The verse says, Kishemesh umogein Hashem Elokim. That God is compared to a sun. So the sun is an expression of godliness. So there's more godliness felt in the world in the month of Tammuz, the summer months in the northern hemisphere. So the month of Tammuz itself has that balance. Is it the summer months that we overindulge in the physicality, or is it the summer months when God's presence shines more in the world? That dilemma and that balance of how to channel our desires is most prominent in the month of Tammuz, which is known as Tkufas HaChoim, the period of the summer months. Why did God choose for the Brit Milah, when God wanted a sign, a covenant, to be engraved in the body of the person? Why did God want that sign, that covenant, to be specifically in the bris? Surely it could be done anywhere. God could have cut off part of a nose or cut off part of an ear. Why did God specifically want the bris milah to be circumcised as we do it today? Why is it so important to Hashem that the covenant of God should be in the bris? Why? Because the bris is the point in a person that represents desire. The bris is a point in a person that represents passion. And God said that's exactly where I want my covenant and my engraving to be engraved in the body of the individual, in the body of a person. Why? Because I want the person to understand that passion and desire in physicality is in contrast to passion and desire in spirituality. In other words, the same way we indulge in the mundane, in physical, in sexual desire, so too we have to indulge in the spiritual desire and spiritual pursuits and spiritual activities. And that's why God chose specifically for the bris to be the bris. The nose, the ears, whatever else of our bodies is irrelevant. Hashem wanted specifically the area in our body that represents desire and temptation, passion and enthusiasm, because God said that the alternative to physicality is going to be spiritual engagement, spiritual pursuit. If you have any questions you'd like to ask as we are discussing the topic of channeling your desires, please feel free to post them in the comments. We have over 40 viewers here this morning between Facebook and YouTube, so thank you all for being online with us during this time. I'd be very happy to take your comments, your questions, your critique, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Feel free to engage with me personally in the chats below, either on Facebook or on YouTube. There's a well-known insight of the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov comments on the verse. The verse says, when you will see Kitire Chamor Socha, when you will see the donkey of your enemy, Rovet Tachas Masa'oi, is falling and crumbling and buckling under its load. If you see the chamor or the donkey buckling under its load, and you consider in your own mind leaving the donkey, not attending to the donkey, because after all, the donkey belongs to your enemy, so you have no patience or no interest in helping out the donkey. Says the Torah, Azov ta'azov imo, you are obligated to help that animal. This is animal rights. Azov ta'azov lo, you are obligated to assist that animal during that time. That's the verse in the Chumash. What does the Baal Shem Tov teach us? The Baal Shem Tov teaches us on this powerful verse, and this is talking about the physicality of an individual. Kitira chamor, when you see the chamor, the donkey, but chamor also means physicality, the material, the mundane. When you see the material, when you see the physical, when you see your body, sonacha, of your enemy, because ultimately he's your enemy. It's your enemy. So what are you going to do with your enemy? You may consider leaving it. I don't want to attend to it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to help it. I don't want to support it because it's my enemy. Not necessarily in the context of the chamor of the donkey, but in the context of chamor, the physicality. Chomer means physicality. Says the Baal Shem Tov, when I see the chamor, when I see the physicality buckling, it's falling to temptation, to desire, to passion and enthusiasm in the wrong direction. What's my natural response? Leave it alone. Disregard it. Abuse it. Torture it. But the pasuk says no. Azov ta'azov imo, you got to help it. You got to take the body, the chamor, the donkey, and elevate it and transform it. Because you'll find that ultimately the body is like a neutral zone. Either the body is going to be guided towards the physicality, or the body is going to be guided towards helping your neshama reach spirituality. And therefore, if you see the chamor, if you see your body crumbling or falling to temptation, don't just leave it and ignore it. Azov ta'azov imo, help it out, embrace it, guide it. Because what you'll find is that ultimately, if the neshama takes control, if you as the soul take control, your body will go with you. And then you'll channel that enthusiasm, that warmth, the vibrancy of the month of Tammuz. You'll guide it towards spiritual pursuit, towards the observance of Torah mitzvot. Have you ever walked into a beis medrash before? I don't know if you others here have ever walked into a yeshiva or a seminary where hundreds of people are studying and learning. The noise is so loud because you have chavrutot who are arguing and debating and fighting with each other over the table as they engage and discuss and learn. Let me tell you, the passion and the enthusiasm that's in that beis medrash in the yeshiva is more palpable. You can feel that more than a stadium who's watching a soccer match. Hello, Jared Abelson. Thanks for coming online with us. Hello, Moritz Walken on YouTube. Just like people go to a stadium to a football match and they watch the game. In fact, I don't know if during Corona that works because we can't have people in a stadium right now. But in the days you could have people in a stadium. Have you ever seen the passion and enthusiasm that the spectators have when watching? That's excitement and enthusiasm. That same enthusiasm can be found in the beis medrash, in the study hall, in the yeshiva that people are learning Torah and engaging in topics of Torah discussion, of God's wisdom. And the two can happen simultaneously, but it's our choice what we prefer. It's our choice. Do we prefer this or do we prefer that? Do we prefer excitement of the physical or the excitement over the spiritual? And obviously, as Yidden, as Jews, as human beings, we've got the choice to make sure that we guide our enthusiasm and guide our heat and warmth towards that which is kosher, towards that which is warm, towards that which is purposeful and meaningful, because that's what God is teaching us by the month of Tammuz that follows the month of Sivan. And Tammuz is, on the one hand, the heat in the world represents the physical enjoyment. On the other hand, the heat of the sun represents God's presence in the world. And that's our choice, how to channel our desires. Thank you all for being here this morning for another session of Lockdown Inspiration and Daily Learning. We'll be back here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for your greetings. If anybody has any other questions you'd like to pose, feel free to message me either now on the chat or afterwards. We'll be happy to engage. We're here every day, 10:30 during lockdown. And I hope you'll join us once again tomorrow morning. In the meantime, have a wonderful day ahead. Keep safe, keep sane, and keep spiritual.